I've been up since 1 a.m. today.
What kept you up all night?
I just feel like there's a lot going on. I mean, it's work, it's family, it's kids, it's all this. Do you feel the sense, do you get the sense that people are dealing with a lot right now? This year has been challenging.
Yeah, chaos all over the world.
There's chaos all over the world. And honestly, when a certain country coughs, other countries feel it. When a certain country sneezes, the other countries get the cold.
They get fever.
They get the fever. It's tempting to be an avoidant when it comes to global issues, you know? I don't want to watch the news. I don't need to know what's happening. But it's keeping in mind, you do need to know what's happening. You do need to keep up with the information. So I tend to think that the first thing one can do is that attitude change. It matters. The world, let's come even to Kenya and the rising cost of living and just how unbelievably hard it's become to just function, to just wake up every day and get through the day. But I feel like 2023 was about the fact that we are now quite safely moving on beyond COVID. And I say safely, obviously, because it's a cycle, right? It's something that there's different waves that will keep coming. But what I mean is 2021 was still that middle ground. 2022 was recovery. 2023 was about getting things going. And then suddenly you realize, on top of everything, the economy is having an issue. People are a lot more high-strung. Like, people are high-strung. People are venting and ranting and angry. And you somehow have to be the person who's trying to be centered, raise your family, do your work, try and keep it moving within the chaos.
Have your sanity.
Have your sanity. Let me tell you what. The greatest thing I believe people are fighting for right now is to regain their sanity. Flipping out on the other side is what is easier to do, to spiral. Everywhere you look, you've literally been given a reason to spiral. We all know people who've spiraled. We all know people who are on the verge of it. Maybe some of us have been on the verge of it as well. All I'm saying is, what can you change when things are out of control? What can you change when it doesn't seem like there's hope and it doesn't seem like there's anything that's going to move? A lot of the time I think about my sons. My sons give me permission to hope. They give me permission to not give up. And also, I don't want them to be jaded about the world events because it's also the world they're living in. And I talk to them about it. Child-friendly version.
Yeah, to avoid anxiety.
Exactly.
I remember in 1998 when the bomb blast happened, then there was the 9/11.
Shortly after.
Yeah, and there were there was El Nino. Like the conversation that were going on, then it was leading to the new millennium. There was all that conspiracies. And that kind of affects you, your education. So you need someone to dissect things in a more realistic way and to give you hope. Like this is not the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you move beyond it as a child? Do you remember at what point you started to feel like you could go back and have hope again?
Yeah, I guess I don't remember who I had the conversation with. And they were like, no, when the end comes, then you just need to be a good kid, you know.
Oh, I see. Right. Just
Yeah.
Okay. Then you said, okay, all I need to do is be good and focus on what I need to focus on.
Right, and also to be thankful that none of those chaos have affected me. I'm not a victim of any.
So it helped you get back.
Yep.
But that's so valid. So it's like, okay, then what can you change? You cannot ever simplify these issues. They're so complex, especially to your point, to people who've been most affected. But I think it's the attitude change. It's first of all realizing that it's the reality. Because people, like I said, it's so easy to be an avoidant. I'm just going to close my eyes, do what I need to do, keep it moving. Understanding that it's a reality doesn't stop you from still stepping back once in a while. So change the attitude, read about it, find out what exactly are these world events, why have they emerged the way they are. And then I also think another thing that you can change, attitude, action and access. I know sounds very technical. This is when the activist in me comes out. I was like, attitude is what I've said. It's understanding and realizing these events affect us all. With access, I say, what can you change is access, meaning, can you provide relief access where you are? If there's relief efforts that are being talked about, are you able to join in and say, I'm going to play my part? in being able to create access pathways for people who are affected. And for action, it's similar to access. Action is, I'm going to do what I can with what I have where I am. If I'm sitting in my living room, what can I do? What action can I take? An action I can take is to maybe get other people to come together and see what we can do collectively about these issues. It's about maybe starting a conversation or an action point where people can create the tiniest levels of change that can eventually lead to something. It can be the tiniest thing. So that's the way I think we
And
can
also
respond. Yeah,
coming together to form a way of recovery
that's really true. Oh, that's
as
really
friends and maybe community.
good. As the workplace,
Yes.
fellowship about these issues. Talk
Perfectly.
about it. Have the
Yes.
conversation. Talk about the anxiety you're feeling, and then maybe talk about, okay, then what do we do with this?
Yes.
What can we do with this? I really like that. I really, really like what you
Because
just
there are people
said.
who will be affected close to us. How do you help them to overcome that?
You've actually given a brilliant example of it's right around you and what can you do. I feel like that's where we need to be right now. It's happening, it's all around us. And this might be something, everything we've said in this conversation maybe has triggered anxiety. That's not what we're trying to do. We're simply trying to say, this is what's happening in the world around us, very near us and far beyond. We need to accept the reality of it.
Be aware.
Be aware,
And
read
take
up on
action.
it, understand the issues, be aware, understand, and take action where you can. with what
Actually,
you have.
understanding is very important.
It is.
Because
Giving-
when you have little knowledge on something, it causes massive anxiety.
That's
So until you understand, then you are able to take action to have hope and also take care of yourselves and those around you.
I feel like Moss has summed it up in a way that maybe it's just to say, ni hayo tu kwa sasa.